Join us for an enlightening experience where you will gain a deeper understanding of the purpose and essence of opening your eyes. This is your chance to enhance self-awareness and personal growth with a shift in perception that provides a fresh outlook on life. Embrace the journey from consciousness to superconsciousness by Barrett Kunyan.
Well, here we are again, and we have our beautiful, beautiful soul brother, Fernando Vossa. Welcome to the Bioactivator platform. It's really an honor, brother. I've been following your work for many, many years, and to have you on our show is just a blessing. But viewers out there who's not very familiar with Professor Vossa's work, but before we get into that, the topic, the hot topic, the title that we'll be discussing today is how to design a home as a time machine. And that really, really excites me. And I'm sure many out there are also excited. I put together a little bio, if there's people out there who's not too familiar with Professor Fernando Vossa's work. Um, we've kept it fairly brief, but here goes. Fernando Vossa is an independent biofuturist, terra healer, and artivist. In 2013, he developed the Vossahedron, a dome for the whole body regeneration and quantum access. The project integrates heart-based wisdom and quantum technologies to regenerate cells, expand mental capabilities, and enhance spiritual awareness. Voss's approach involves his, or shall I say, womb and frequential ascension principles, and aimed at creating a civilization of avatar creator consciousness. His thesis focuses on quantum alchemy, fractal thought intention, and interdimensional cymatic configurations. These principles form an architecture that balances heat, cold, sound crystals, water, light, magnetism, and plasma, connecting with novus templates of master ancestor origins. Vossa resides on the big island of Hawaii, researching lava's time-space modulation properties. Oh, I'm really, really excited here. And if I may, without stealing the show too much, brother, you also not that long ago, you put together a mission statement, which is titled Heaven on Earth is Our Mission. And it's very close and very dear to my heart, if I can share it with our beautiful viewers out there. Water, food, energy, housing, and wellness are our mantras. Peace is our beginning. Love is our inspiration. Compassion is our strategy. Sustainability is our blueprint. Regeneration is our process. Healing is our gift. Artivism is our platform. DNA is our messenger. Light is our language. Harmonic resonance is our technology. Gaia is our mentor. Earth is our garden. Humanity is our team. Multiverse is our realm. I am is our only client. Professor Vossa, uh, it's an honor to have you here on our platform, and I'm going to hand that mic to you because I've said enough. It really is a pleasure to have you here. Thank you.
Luminal Barrett. Gratitude for opening up this platform and this dialogue. We're inviting our participating audience to visualize the expansion of humanity by establishing that there are humans right now on Earth that we didn't even know existed. Because in my perception, the most capable conscious visionaries are outside of the military, outside of corporations, not participating in the university system, where there are friends and colleagues of ours that are designing portals, playing with the ability to connect to any part of the universe. And to expand what is possible, there are the language that we understand in leading edge science of people working on free energy technology. That's already on the edge of what people are able to talk about. So let's take this idea of free energy, somehow that we could create a technology that generates electricity or light or magnetism perpetually. And let's take those words and turn it into energy in freedom. What is it like to liberate our relationship to all the known energy forms: electricity, light, sound, crystal, magnetism, plasma, thought energy? When I attended university, when you get to meet your advisors and you're deciding on a degree program, do I want to be an engineer or a scientist or a doctor and so forth? I had one simple question. How are we doing this? The built environment. How are we expressing humanity, the cities, the technology, the methodologies, all of it? Is there a discipline that answers that question, that approaches the answer to how are we doing this? Obviously, it's not going to be found in psychology or physics or philosophy or any of the degree programs. So the suggestion is to tap into the ability to be a multidimensional visionary on Earth that has multiple areas of knowledge as the norm, as the baseline, not the weirdo, not the one that doesn't fit anywhere. So today's dialogue is dedicated to the visionaries, the ones that were born with the ability to tap into other realms and do their best to bring them and share them and create from that vision. So this is the opening today, and I'm going to share that the research that I've been through over 20 years of independent, at some point decided to move away from the Black projects I used to be part of, advanced research laboratories, a career in artificial intelligence, the access to weaponization of everything. I decided to step away from that. And that's the first level of integrity we're going to look at. I would say I would only want to create with other humans that have the level of integrity to walk away from being offered the world and be able to say, that's not what I want to participate in. So whenever you're going to do business with someone, you want to create a technology, create something in this world, look for that ability. It's a superpower. It is a kind of energy that doesn't allow distortion or distraction or contamination from your original vision. So we'll take a breath here for a moment. Because to have access to the secrets of the universe, to be in resonance with what is possible here on Earth in this physical body here, there are several hurdles, several layers to move through, what we're going to talk about today. And the question is, how are we materializing reality from thought? To me, that's as important as asking what happens when we die. Another timeless question. That's where my research starts. How does that feel, Barrett?
Really, really stimulating, brother. really, it does. Yeah, I mean, the adrenaline, it's buzzing, big time, lovely brother. Yeah, I mean, for me, it's always been this way. If I may, just add something to that as well. For me, what is truth at the end of the day. Because it's for me also, everything is expanding, everything is growing all the time, and most people are interpreting their version of truth based on their ability to siphon energy, because no two beings are of the same frequency, so their interpretation is higher or lower. But in presence, I was sharing that space with you earlier before the show. When you're excited and you're happy in your beingness, it's hard not to enhance. It's not difficult to bring joy, peace, and happiness to everything that you come in contact with. Every living organism is almost, reaching higher and higher. And it gives me pleasure, brother, to spend space with you, time, to share this, because it does enhance, it does expand, and it brings unity, trust, and love and togetherness, which is really what is life all about for me personally. And I think there is a universal appeal to that. um
Let's jump
and
into it.
that's Yeah,
What
absolutely.
happens after several decades of cultivating a mind that can contain complete thoughts, to have the gift to guide visions so that they become entire realms that one can step inside and be immersed in those realms that you seeded? Part of this begins with integrating all of the brains in the body. How many brains do we have in the body? How many areas of thought creation do we have in the body? They're infinite, really. But let's begin with a few that we know about. The entire nervous system, the skeletal system that thinks about structure and stability. That's the calcium crystal system in your body. The connective brains of tissue, tendons, and joints. They think about things too. There are thoughts in there. And the thoughts that move through all of your muscles. That's the kinetic brain of movement and flow. Then we have the thinking brain of the digestive system that includes all of the biome, gut bacteria that are trillions of creatures working with you. And we have the skin brain that thinks about the membrane, the boundary between the outer verse and the inner verse. And it goes on and on. The lymphatic system that thinks about in neurotransmitters, and the endocrine system, and all of your organs, each, the liver, the kidneys, all of that are different areas of the body that, once we release the idea that all our coconut gray matter is where it's interesting, is to be able to pulse a thought through your whole body, unimpeded. No resistance, friction of your past, the trauma, your childhood, your religion, your culture, your whatever. Once that is cleansed, an entire thought could be pulsed through your whole body. To open the eyes of the body is to open all of the cells that can see and detect light. I'm walking through a series of progressions that took years to achieve, that could be done even shorter if properly guided and properly nurtured. How many eyes do we have? Well, once we acknowledge that every single aspect of our physical body is photosensitive, you can shine a light on any cell in your body, anywhere in the body, and it reacts. You can shine light on any aspect of your DNA. You can plays sound to it too in any frequency. So when you open the trillions of eyes in your skin, in your muscles, in your bones, in your cells, in your blood, in your neurons, you can see the universe. You can see multiple dimensions. When we say the word ascension, it's a trouble spot for many. What do you mean? We're going to have rapture and we're going to float into space, and who knows what the idea is there. I'm talking about the conscious physics of turning up the frequency of everything that you are in your physics, the physicality of your body. You turn up the bandwidth of your eyes, turn the bandwidth of your ears, and all of the instruments in your body. Because one of the things I learned through a phase of plant medicine that I went through, researching psychedelics, is that while we are traveling with DMT or ayahuasca or San Pedro or Salvia divinorum or mushrooms or peyote or cambo or whatever it is that is your platform, we forget that the physical body wants to go with you on your journey. You can't just pack your bags and leave your body. So what can we detect with this body as it is right now? What can we see in energy? What if I shared that there are cells running around our body that detect time like an instrument, a temporal detector of past, present, future, sideways time, time fractals? There are cells in our body that detect creation. What do we mean by creation? When something is born in the universe, a star goes supernova and releases neutrinos, there are cells in our body that detect neutrino emissions throughout the universe. You can feel the birth of light in your body at different frequencies. There are cells in our body that are sensitive to ultraviolet and infrared and other forms of energy, X-ray, gamma ray. When we bring that online consciously, then when you have a thought, an idea comes into the body, one restructures the body as a womb of ideas that are gestated. It's not that, oh, I thought about this concept and I'm going to reach out to some other prophet, some other book, some other methodology outside of your body. That's one of the places we get in trouble. What if a vision that resides in your body, an idea of a planet that's liberated and a concept for a technology, a inspiration to create a food forest, whatever those versions are, what if we were able to gestate them, let them breathe and develop as a child, so that it eventually, those ideas and concepts are captured by every cell in your body, the biome, the gut bacteria. We think of the bacteria in our gut as a bunch of organisms consuming, but they are also creating. What do they create? They create energy. They create space and time. So if you look at my subtitle here, it says temporal sovereignty. And I've written an entire treatment that I call the 12 principles of temporal sovereignty. We have an idea of what we call sustainability, to sustain us: water, food, energy. We got that list. But see, I'm not interested in sustainability. I don't want to be in survival mode. I'm in thriving creation mode. So what can I create is the question I'm asking when I'm talking about materializing reality from thought. And I'm going to share with our audience a few insights. So take a breath. Our body can create its own water. Let's just think about that for a moment. Our relationship with water as something that you have to go and get from the sky or from the ground or from the air. What if you knew your cells could create their own amniotic interstitial fluid, the fluid that surrounds your cells, as a little universe? What if we knew beyond what Master Dr. Emoto shared about imprinting water and the water memory, about creating water? What kind of water? What about water in the body as life force that is structured to accelerate your awakening? So that when you interact with any water, in drinking it or moving through it, walking through the atmosphere of water on the earth or the water of space around the planets, was creating the universe. What about food sovereignty? The sovereign knowing that we create our own nutrition, energetic, chemical nutrition, gaseous nutrition in our bodies. On their own, out of nothing, out of quantum ether, we create nutrition. We are sovereign in that ability. We are sovereign and free to create our own healing and regeneration of this body. And we're moving up the frequency, as Barrett, you were talking about being able to move through the levels of ascension and enlightenment. Once you know you can create your own water and your own food and heal your own body, and you know that you can harvest and create your own energy, this body, as it is, can create electricity, light, sound, crystals, magnetism, gravity, plasma. This body can generate light at spectrums we don't even know about yet, beyond ultraviolet and infrared. This is stepping through how do we materialize reality from thought, intention. So let's just tap in for a moment with a breath. That your presence here in this dimension, whatever we call it, density, reality, is your abundance. You are abundant by the mere existence of you. That is your money, your wealth, your resources. Right there, your presence walks in with full capability. We're going to keep turning up the frequency here. We have the ability, the full sovereignty to describe what is our purpose here on earth. Why are you here? Why are you breathing? You get to decide that, nobody else. That itself is a form of energy and freedom. You can design your own identity, who you are and why you are here, and what instruments you're going to create for yourself is part of this temporal sovereignty. And when we turn up the frequency of all of this, we realize that we can create time and space with our thoughts. We expand the universe with our love, with our vision, with our actions. We are creating galaxies and planets. How do you learn this? See, I haven't even shown any images. We're showing visual realms of thought. Let me just jump a little bit higher on that frequency scale. Not only do we have sovereignty of time because we can create time, and time is not something that ticks on a clock. It's not a sequence of events. It is a substance and an energy. It is a field of consciousness, and we can create it. We can expand time. We can turn and create fractals of time. We can also orchestrate synchronicity, the alignment of people, places, things, energy, circumstances. To orchestrate synchronicity is a creator-creatress birthright. To command these things in your body and in reality, not out of ego, but out of love, to expand self. We have the ability to orchestrate holographic cymatic frequencies of synchronicity. If I'm going to be stepping into a space in everyday life, like I have to go into the city and going to go into a matrix structure that bothers me, the Department of Motor Vehicles or some government office or some bank that bothers me, what if I created a field of energy as my home to arrive ahead of my body and prepare the space before I enter? I arrive before my body arrives, and I leave before my body leaves. And align all the circumstances and the people and the energy and the physics and the matter. That building needs to know you're arriving. The matter in the rock resonates to your ideas. Where did I learn this? The ancients built cities like Angkor Wat and Machu Picchu and Teotihuacan, Mexico, and many others that we could walk as gods, as goddesses. Imagine as an architect, as an urban planner, you were tasked to design a city to live as a god. And that already challenges many religions and many philosophies. You're not God. You didn't do this. That's noise and distraction. It's not ego I'm talking about. It is knowing this as a truth in my body. What other beautiful templates are out there? What if I shared that we have the sovereignty to create our own capabilities? I'll share with you a few others. Fractalization. A god goddess can fractalize, can divide and branch out anything. The moment we're presented with a polarity, something that's polarized, you have to decide between this and that, hot and cold, yes or no. We already know, no, that's not even real. I'm going to take those two things and divide them and create a third and a fourth and a seventh and a 1 millionth. Don't ever get cornered into any polarities or absolutes. To fractalize means that one can create an infinity out of any idea. We can branch it like lightning or mycelial growth into something that has infinite surface area. Our thoughts are like that. What happens when you know this in your body? You start seeing it everywhere. So I'm going to take a breath here. How's this feeling, Barrett? What we're sharing?
It feels wonderful, brother. And yeah, I mean, it's harmonizing, it's neutralizing, and it brings you to that awe and ecstasy of in that beingness, which ignites and brings more into alignment, if you will. And it's exciting, and my day always begins with gratitude. The minute I open my eyes, I'm excited in the prospects that what awaits. Not waiting as some people may interpret something is going to happen. It's happened. So it just envelopes and it just titillates in the most divine manner, bringing love and to have a love affair with yourself, and it begins with self first, because that's what people will come in contact with, that divinity with self, that God spark which is in every one of us, and sharing that space. um it's hard not to fall in love, and unconditionally, because that's the name of the game for me personally. Not conditionality, unconditionality is a very powerful currency. And if I may, I've been living in abundance for quite a while, not having the need to chase anything or need to do anything, but to be happy in myself. And that's what raises the vibration. And it's a language that has a universal appeal. And I don't do this division aspect where, for me, when you remove the veil, there is only one language, and that is love.
Yeah.
And I'm really comfortable with that, brother. Thank you. Yeah, really resonates.
So let's jump to where I am right now on the big island of Hawaii. There are certain places on Earth that have volcanic activity, like Iceland and parts of Italy and Indonesia and places like Hawaii. If I was going to learn how to create matter, and we can change the word matter for planets, who or what would you want to converse with? Who do you talk to about creating planets? I have here a piece of lava from one of the lava flows of 2018 here on the Big Island. And there are different kinds of lava. There is something that the Hawaiians call a'a, which is the real spiky, you can't even walk on lava because it's got all these different cracks. And then there's another kind of lava, it's called pahoahoa from the Hawaiian language, which is a flowing bubbles that are smooth. And it looks like the liquid just kind of stopped, and you can walk on this kind of lava. When I look at this substance, and to me, this fresh lava is some of the most valuable, energetically potent substances on Earth. What is this made out of? Is lava just black? No, it's iridescent. When you get real close to it, you'll see that it has like butterfly wing blue and greens. It's got crystals. It's made up of oxygen, solid oxygen, nitrogen. It also has thorium and uranium. There are bands of iron. You can see little red colors and little crystals, and there's sulfur residue. And this little shell here has different surface area. The bumpiness on the bottom of a bubble versus the top exposed to the air, and all the little pockets, all of those little cavitations. This is a technology. It is a fractal technology. It has fractal space like a Sierpinski triangle or pyramid. It has positive and negative space. Is there more empty space in here than there is actual matter? Yes. This thing has more space than it does rock. And it is an electromagnetic capacitor. All these little bubbles I am showing have little electromagnetic fields, and it is piezoelectric. You tap on it and you can measure piezoelectric emissions. This material is a computer. The copper and the gold and the silica resonates with your body. Your body has those elements. This is an instrument of temporal modulation. It modulates time fields around it. When a volcano is going off, there's lava flowing. It's very interesting how humans react to that. You ask someone that was around the volcano flow, how did it feel? Do you remember how much time went by? How did it happen? They're very disoriented because all of the crystals in your cochlea, the crystals in your pineal, all of the elements in your body are resonating to a frequency they've never experienced. You don't know what is happening. And it's not necessarily fear all the time. How is it that slow rolling lava can approach a human and they don't move out of the way? It has happened. You would think you could just run, but something is going on. There's temporal distortions in our perception. There's spatial disalignments. The reason why I'm bringing all this up, what would it be like to build a dome out of this material and meditate inside of it? I've been inside the lava tubes, those caves, and meditated in there for hours in pure darkness. You know what happened? I started seeing colors with my eyes open or closed. It doesn't really matter. I started feeling the sound of my own body without 5G and who knows what other invasion underground. I bring this up because I have been researching a particular geometry, and I'm going to share the screen here to show it to you that came through me. So I'm going to go into presentation here and share screen. And you should be able to see this opening image. This is a image part of a series of courses that I host. And this particular one points us to the womb, the cosmic womb. The kind of place we miss all the time where we were in complete harmony, homeostasis, and symbiosis with our mother, the universe, the creation. This is where we want to be sometimes. This is what we miss all the times. This is where I create from. I tap into the before I was here, and that's where I get my ideas from, my creative direction. And I'm not going to be able to show everything about every slide, but this is our retina, the oculus, where we receive light and we interpret reality. And as a researcher, as a cognitive scientist, I have studied the anatomy of the cones and rods in the eye, among many other things I've studied, the way we perceive reality and light, what is happening at these microstructures, creating mathematical and software models of color systems. How do we have color language? It's just one way of describing reality. What if we could learn how to think in color? Because this is one of the way light ships are navigated through dimensions. This is a plasma emission from the sun. And we've got instruments here on Earth. Plasma is one of those multidimensional elements of charged gas that is a shapeshifter. So we can have plasma thoughts with our ideas. And we can learn how to think in lightning, how to have thoughts that seek and activate and charge. And we can cultivate our body to be able to see different frequencies from a star, the different color spectrums. And as I research supernova simulations and massively computer models, and I've studied the amino acid crystallization in the body. How do our amino acids at the DNA level turn to crystals? How do we biomineralize our life? And what other creatures I've studied, like diatoms, to study sacred geometry in silica and calcites and salts that turn to these beautiful shapes. This is where I went multidimensional in my research. As an artist of shape, I learned what other advanced forms of life are creating. Wouldn't you want to live inside something that looks like this? And studying cymatics and hacking my own cymatoscopes, creating my own instruments that mix light and sound, and seeing others research, what are the frequencies of these different geometries? How does your voice look? Could you imprint it in water? Could we study fossilization of 1 billion years ago? And the answer is yes to all these questions. We are a prism of light in our bodies. We are transducers of a message that's moving through all of creation. I'm sharing these images of cymatic shapes and crystal, radial, and radiosity to share that this is the way I approach consciousness and enlightenment and awakening. And not only do I meditate in visions, I also know that in our cells, we also have refractive capabilities. As light moves through the cells, they refract light to each other. They speak in light language, in color, and in sound. And I'm curious to see how that's related to creating omniverses from thought. Studying fields of laser geometries where you can look at the beam of a laser in coherence and see embedded fractality in light. So the true creation began when I had a vision in meditation on psychedelics. I saw an orb of light floating in front of me, like a really high spinning orb of light. And it was in space heading toward the Pleiades. So in my mind, I froze it. I imagined it stopping, and I sliced it in half and looked into it. And it showed me this geometry that I've created here, recreated. The flower of life is embedded in this geometry, but there's another set of circles and lines that I wanted to study deeply. I call it the Vossa hedron, a new kind of hydra, a 12-pointed star. And moving through the research of creating Chladni plates and 3D models and looking at crop circles and studying cactus in the desert that had these points and these curves, and also doing San Pedro cactus journeys. This is where I came up with the Vossahedron geometry, this extrusion that looks like a cactus dome. These are my 3D models, the very first ones I created back in, must have been the year 2005, 2008, a 12-pointed pyramid. This fractal structure has been guiding how to build a new kind of free energy device. That solid state has no moving parts, that generates these fields inside, an instrument of consciousness. And at that time, I was already an industrial designer. I was designing hypercube structures and pyramids and technology that use sound, light, crystal energy, color. And this is a 3D rendering of the Vossahedron as a 2-story dome. Think of this as a telescope that you go inside to study inner space. So I have generated full blueprints in 3D. How does this structure block out harmful energy, 5G, MK Ultra mind control, invasive noise? And inside, it's a temple of space. It's a structure. The windows are lenses that you can change color and frequency. So there's an entire masterclass I have on the Vossahedron, and I've gave the links that should be in the description of this talk to let you explore how this instrument, how we could build one of these. The second and third generation of this geometry is a magnetic levitation structure. You wouldn't be touching the earth while you're inside. I've 3D printed these models. I built a laboratory that charges the models with light and sound and crystal energy. And I gave birth. And when I say I'm really talking about years of work here, interaction with teams of people, advisors and scientists and researchers. So it's not just me. Following the mentors of Tesla and George Van Tassel and Paolo Soleri and others that have guided me of how to do biostructures. I'm sharing just the notes, just the basic ideas of how to create a time machine, teleportation, body regeneration system. I'm going to stop here.
Brother, if I may, what we saw was a globe, and inside the globe was like an embryo. Yeah, I was going to say, were you supposed to add a few more slides to that movement?
Oh, there's a lot of slides in this presentation. I just wanted to show a little snippet of the background here.
Yeah, because we just saw the globe and with the embryo, so we didn't manage to see.
The slides didn't shift
No, it
while I
didn't.
was talking?
I do. Yes, I was just wondering if I may, would you be
I
able
see
to
they must
just?
have just... Go ahead.
I was going to say, do you mind just showing that again, because it got stuck there, and I didn't want to
Let's
disturb the
see. I'm
flow.
going back to present.
Yeah. So all we saw was the globe with the embryo inside, and we didn't manage to see
That's all
the.
that happened? Oh, you should have let me know earlier. I would have stopped. I didn't know. Okay, I'm going to share the entire screen.
Thank you. Apologies, though.
I'm going to go back. Do you see the presentation?
Yes.
And I'm going to start the slideshow again. Do you see this next slide?
We see an eye there with the veins
Right, that's the
inside.
second slide. That's where I mentioned the retina.
Excellent. Okay.
So I'm going to walk through real quickly through the slides.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
The research in the cones and rods of the eye and the retina, how those modulate color and shape. And here's where I was mentioning the mathematical models of color tone, studying color systems. and studying plasma discharges, plasma field, plasma containment, to get a understanding of a shape-shifting kind of energy. So you're still seeing the images of plasma here?
Absolutely. Thank you.
And practicing something I call energetic mimicry, not just biomimicry, but the mimicking, the intimate relationship with energy and the different frequencies from stars. Plasma lamps and plasma discs is part of this research. And looking at computer-generated models of supernova events, how would we model the creation of nebulas that eventually become galaxies? And the crystal structure of amino acids and refraction patterns, X-ray diffraction through crystals. And correlating that to neural pathways in the brain and throughout the body. How does neurons mimic mycelial growth and lightning and roots of trees? And here are the diatoms I was talking about. These creatures that are the masters of geometric form when it comes to shaping silica and calcium and expressing inverse gravity and quantum access. This is where I meant, would you like to live in one of these? Just to feel what it's like. The images of cymatic mimicry of biology, the cymatic patterns, the sound frequencies that would give rise to these geometries. How far back do these messages go is what the question is. If you look at ammonites and other fossils, what is the sound that gives rise to those bodies? So there's an entire collection of research images. And here's where I was talking about the body as a crystal, as a prism of light. And the different experiments with lasers and different types of crystals to understand the refraction patterns of coherence. When you shine a laser through a crystal, it doesn't break up into different colors. It's coherent. It's only one type of photon. And understanding how this is a process that the cells can refract light to each other. We have a whole language, as I mentioned, of light inside the body, of refraction patterns that we've yet to really open up. These are studies of laser beams in geometry, like you're looking through the beam and feeling that embeddedness. How much messages can you send through a beam of light? Which is to say, a thought. And this is the vision of the Vossahedron orb. So I apologize for not sharing correctly last time. I can give a copy of these slides so people can see them in a PDF and kind of walk through them. This is the Vossahedron molecule that had a vision about. I was looking at it floating in space. And I captured that 12-pointed star shape as the intersection of all these circles and correlated to the cymatic research and the cactus geometries, where I came up with the shape of this dome, and of course, crop circle. And I share that in the link that we're going to be publishing, people can take their time and look at an entire masterclass on the Vocahedron, the 3D models that were created from this research, studying the fractal properties of this shape. This is what I mean about gestating an idea and letting it breathe and evolve. Wouldn't it be great to live and have access to a house, an architecture that gave rise to these cymatic patterns all around your body? Some of my early concepts. Some of these are from 2009. Imagine if this is what I was thinking back then, what am I coming up with now? And here's the Vocahedron dome in a 3D rendering. Mm-hmm. Too many angles, you say? Well, the curves are all the energy fields that are happening through these angles. Here are the windows. The skylight is an instrument. Light comes in through the top of the dome. So all these pictures are available in the links that I'm going to that I share. This is already over a decade old, so I got new stuff, as always. Mm-hmm. Here's the levitating version of this crystal structure and the 3D print lab to materialize this from thought, to give rise to a new geometry that we haven't quite expressed fully. All right. This is the formula that was given to George Van Tassel, the creator of the Integratron dome in Joshua Tree, California. Frequency equals 1 over time. This was given to him by off-world beings that came and landed in front of him and got out of a ship. How cool is that? All right, so we're going to stop right here. We're back.
That was absolutely awesome, bro. Thank you so much for sharing that. It's been an absolute pleasure having you, brother. We look forward to converging again in the foreseeable future, which is now. We don't wait
Thank
for
you.
things to happen, as you know. And
I would like to leave off with an idea.
Yeah.
I just had a birthday on May 9th. I was born in 1964. That was the last year of the dragon, the wood dragon, which we are in now, a full 60-year cycle. Whether it means anything, I don't know, but I'm making it mean something. To arrive at a time in my life where I take full authorship of everything that I've done. What has this body experienced? Sports, Tai Chi, dance, Qigong, all kinds of athletics, swimming, diving, skydiving. It goes on and on and on. This body is so intelligent. The muscles in this body, the muscle memory of everything I've touched and moved in 60 years. How much has this mind experienced? Putting those together, what happened during my conscious awakening? The several cycles of it that I went through in my life, the accelerated absorption of knowledge. Now I'm invoking it all of it, everything that I know, every single bit of information, knowledge, wisdom, integrated into a focused human who's enjoying being alive. To give oneself full acknowledgement and love and saying, thank you for hanging out in this planet. This is what I'm doing to myself. I'm saying thank you to my body and my mind for getting through the gauntlet of my life. I already know that many of us have experienced that extreme loneliness, the extreme isolation of being conscious. There was no one really to talk to about this growing up. Now there's a lot of us. And there's no us or them, but what I'm saying is that we have peers of consciousness now that we can have dialogues. These did not exist when I was 20. Teenagers today, your son, Barrett, has access to humans that did not exist when I was his age. I didn't have friends at high school that were both into what I was into. They didn't exist where I grew up. Like I looked in my family. And the reason why I'm bringing all this up is because now, arriving at this age, I've opened up a dimension of 10 years between 60 and 70 to do this, to take this beautiful concept of this instrument and build a fully working model to amplify the consciousness of this body. I want to live inside one of these instruments that I could visualize seeding an entire civilization. So if one was to ask, what is my purpose right now and between now and the day I transition, is to acknowledge this temple and inscribe lovingly in every single vein, in every single cell. This is the temple of inscriptions where I'm going to write down all of the knowledge, all of the wisdom, all of the enlightened learning, and be able to see this body back into this earth so that it births a brand new planet, a brand new civilization of humanity. That is my purpose. And I'm lovingly doing this here in Hawaii, taking the idea of homesteading, building food forests, and cultivating more humans who wish to do this. I'm not distracted. I don't have ADD, HDAD, not bipolar, not any of those designations. I'm sharing this to see that within each individual who's watching. How old am I? I am billions of light years old. How long have I focused? Infinity. My ancestors had infinite focus, and so do I. I can think about things a billion years from now. The reason why I share all this is to leave off with a mantra. It's two statements. I am the center of mass creation. I am an engine of mass creation. I am the center of mass creation. I'm an engine of mass creation. And every time I say that, I can visualize a new meaning to that. So take a breath. I lovingly share this and ask, what do you want with a magic wand? What do you want to create? That's where we can begin talking. To cultivate and support each other in our visions. Leave them intact. Don't need criticism or changing it. Let's amplify each other. Namaste.
Namaste, brother. Namaste.
Yeah.
Much
Oof.
love. Gratitude. That was awesome. Really enjoyed that.
Thank you to you and your son for opening up this platform.
It's an honor, pleasure, brother. And look forward to connecting again. And if I may as well, very quickly, I mean, Katrina and I, we're very excited about the prospects of what's happening here as well. And in the foreseeable future, we'd be honored to visit and participate more
We would
where you
love to
are.
host you. Come visit as things progress. We are looking at pieces of land, sites that are lava, covered in lava, to
Yeah.
build this dome on top of. It's like saying, where's the most powerful, energetic site? We found several.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic, brother. Look forward to sharing more in due course. And by the way, the exotic sounds, background, heavenly sounds,
I'm in
definitely
the jungle.
sets the setting. It's just awesome, really
I live in the
powerful.
rainforest on this
Wow.
side of the island. Yes.
Wow. Excellent.
This lava here on the island, as soon as it cools, it starts growing things. Trees come out of the lava without any soil. Let's wrap our mind around that for a second. This rock out there in those fields, ferns come out of it and trees. To eat a papaya or a coconut that is volcanic is the highest life force of any food I've ever had anywhere on the planet. You can't buy this in a market.
Book the ticket, honey. We're on board, brother. Exciting.
Yes.
And it's the magnetism.
I'm grateful just to have this energy in this body to be able to contain these visions. I give gratitude to that. Namaste. I'm sharing what is possible. All right.
See you soon, brother.
I will see you soon. I'm looking forward to sharing this link when we're ready.
Yeah, we'll do. I'll send you the copy. Namaste.
Right.
Namaste.
Bioactivator would like to thank you for your kind support and donations. Through Barrett Tunian's guardianship of this platform, his activation of truth harmonizes, neutralizes, and unblocks the meridians that connect, balance, and purify all that comes in contact. Do no harm is the key that fully opens the heart's voice to be in the union of the I Am presence, and will represent every living organism on the planet whose voice would otherwise not be heard. Remember, the truth will set you free. Do no harm, cause no loss, and do not impose upon the freedom of others. Love, light, and gratitude.